Cotney Attorneys and Consultants is dedicated to helping the construction industry with legal, business, and safety challenges. Welcome to this week's episode of Law Mortar with John Kenny and Trent Cotney.
And welcome to another episode of Law Mortar. I'm John Kenny, your host today, still filling in as the main host for Trent Cotney, who's still out on assignment. He'll be joining us on the next one. So today I have one of our attorneys here in Tampa, Florida, as our guest, Christie Coston. Christie, how are you today?
I'm doing well, John. How are you?
I can't complain. It's all good. Finishing up a week. Looking forward to the weekend for sure. I'm sure you are as well.
Absolutely.
So, one of the topics I wanted to discuss today, we see this a lot, and it's, right now, and we've covered these in different episodes, but we have, looking at it from a different perspective, but we have material prices that are going through the roof. We have inflation. We have supply chain issues and a multitude of other things that are out there. But I don't know if we haven't looked at this really on this particular podcast series lately on the contractual issues of this. So I thought today would be a great time to throw over your way, Christie. I know you work a lot on the contract reviews with our clients, and you're really on top of what's going on. So kind of look at this, hit us maybe with the top few tips of what can be done to help protect through contractual efforts with the contracts.
Certainly. Yeah, a couple of things you want to look for. As John mentioned, we're seeing this a lot where there's a lot of issues with supply chain issues with, being able to get materials, labor, and things like that. Some of the things you want to be able to do is to have some certain provisions in your contract to help alleviate those issues. One of those provisions is going to be what they call a price escalation provision. And what that does is it's going to give you, the contractor, the opportunity to, the right to have your prices increased in the event that you're hit with a price increase due to material shortages. So the other thing that we would want to do is we want to also see that there's a material shortage and substitution provision in there. What that's going to do is give you the opportunity to have a change order, and depending on how it's drafted, you can either have a change order stating that you're permitted to use certain materials and that you're also entitled to an extension of time, and a change order for using a different product. You want to be, the key there is that you want to be able to substitute the materials if they're permanently unavailable and you're not going to be able to get them for your job. You don't want to be hung up and then potentially get hit for delay damages and things like that. So that's just a couple of things that you want to be looking for in today's the times that we're in today.
So let me ask you this question, kind of to kick off from that. So what do you think during the review process? A lot of contractors do the reviews in-house. They have contract administrators, or they maybe the president or the CEO does the contract reviews. We know that happens out there and it's common. But what do you think is most overlooked, but in general, when somebody is doing self-reviews? What do you think when you find later on, like, what do you see as most missed? What's a hot topic there?
One of the things that's commonly missed is that a lot of contracts will have language already stating that the price is fixed and that you're not entitled to any kind of escalation clauses, or any kind of escalation costs, rather, excuse me. And in that situation, if there's a material increase while you're performing work on the project and you don't have that provision that I just mentioned in your contract, you're going to be on the hook for those costs more than likely. So it's certainly something that's important and that you want to ensure that you're looking at.
That is a great point. As a matter of fact, this was just this week, dealing with on the consulting side on a business question somebody had. They actually got into that same exact issue on probably a $4 to $5 million roofing project that they signed this year. And the contractor they signed with had a clause in there that specifically said you will not be entitled to any price increases throughout the project. And their material probably hundreds of thousands of dollars change. And they're really, and that's one of the ones I talked to you about. If you remember that, probably, and they can't recover it. It's not going to be there. You signed it. So note of caution, self-reviews, there's a lot more to it than, than it seems. So always be careful out there. One of the other hot topics, Christie, you'll just bring up a little bit. Everybody's been watching. Again, we talked a little bit prior. So yes, the OSHA has put a statement out this week on ETS that it's on hold. They're not going to move, because of the court order in the 5th district, they got a hold moving forward. So, that's still to be seen where that will finally end up. Here in locally in Florida, the legislator passed and the governor signed in a bunch of anti-mandate legislation, I guess the easiest way. So again, any questions on that, hook into our lobbying department over here and they'll be able to fill you in more. But the bill got signed for the big infrastructure plan, whatever 1.7, whatever trillions we're talking about. So we covered this a little bit last week. So it has been put in. And I know I have seen on TV, I don't know if you have too, Chrissy, there are some shovel-ready projects that are going out to bid based on this money to be there. So I think you're going to see this start to move fairly quickly in some areas. So it looks like I think we all have to agree infrastructure is real important. I know I get frustrated driving around myself. So so I think we'll probably see an uptick in some, not just infrastructure, there's going to be vertical and horizontal. So if you heard same thing, see that, Christy, looks like pretty active with your clients.
Yep, we're hearing that a lot, and we're frankly, I think it's going to be exciting for the industry that we're going to, get these things kicked off and have things moving.
Good. Well, I know it's your first time on here, but we always like to do it this time towards the end is have a question from one of our great listeners out there. And let's see, I like to always pull out of the pile as Trent does, and I got the pile today, so I'm happy. So we have this question comes from actually a pair. It comes from Brian and Rick. They own a roofing company up in the says greater New York area. And their question happens to fit today's topic about contract reviews. And it kind of fits the second part we did about having a contract signed and get in trouble. So their question is, I'm in a situation now where I have signed a contract and now we're finding there's areas that probably we should not have accepted in the contract. And we're looking at our best options of if we have any options. So I guess to probably put that up, Christy, if I was the client, I'd be coming to you saying, hey, I got this project, I signed it, I have some problems now that are not favorable to me because of this contract I signed. I want you to look at it and have any advice. So I know we don't have a real contract. We don't know what the issues are. Kind of generalization. Have you been in this situation before?
Absolutely, yes. It's something we're seeing a lot, unfortunately. And in those situations, the first thing that we're going to do is look through the contract and see if there's any provision, any language whatsoever that we can use to try to, either get you entitled to a change order or potentially to use different materials or to somehow excuse, the performance under the agreement. That can be very, very difficult. It is an uphill battle to get something like that in most cases. So what we recommend is that, you get ahead of this. That's the best thing that you can do to help yourself in these situations. And with everything going on today is to get ahead of it up front, have your contract reviewed. I'm sure John has mentioned this, but if you go to Shop Cottony, we've got subscription plans out there, very reasonable. And we will take a look at your contract and look for those specific provisions to try to help protect you.
Yep. The only thing I can add from the business standpoint of this, one is I actually jump back to definitely get an attorney. You're at this stage and you got a problem. You still want to talk to an attorney. You want to find out what your options are. Now, flipping it to the business side, you've got to look at what maybe they're asking you to do and where you go. Once you talk to your attorney, you got to really weigh out how well you're situated compared to what the cost may be to make this situation go away. So a lot of times, as you know, I've been on that side for a long time. There's a lot of decisions that get made on risk management that sometimes fixing an issue and getting out of it without going into a long legal battle way outweighs the fact of trying to get beyond the process. But again, that's a risk management decision on the business side. Look at it, talk to your attorney. They'll work with you on weighing out the cost of what it may be to if you can defend it. And sometimes, like the material instance we talked about before, you don't have a position to stand on. So you might as well know that up front. Other than that, I'd like to say definitely go to shopcottney.com. Once again, we have plenty of things out there for you to look at, from legal, business, documents, plans, subscriptions, training. We're all there for you as always. So I want to thank everybody for joining us once again. So if you need to get a hold of me, it's jkenny@cottneycl.com. Christie, how can they get a hold of you?
You can get a hold of me via email at ccoston@cottneycl.com.
All right, fantastic. Well, until next week, say goodbye. Enjoy your weekends, your upcoming week, and we'll see you next week. Take care.
Thank you.